Gimel, Achine, Kal, Bechinas Abidurim Dashvatim. However, all this idea of the purification of that's caused through the concept of the tribes, Rag Bechinas Bitla Yesh La'ayin, it's only in a way of nullification of the existence to the not, the lower level of Bitl, Bechinas Apirud, Bechinas Ayichud, from going from the state of division to the state of unity. Like Vayechi, it says that your hands are at the nape of the neck of your enemy, to subjugate the other side. And so too, when it says that the ruler will or the stick will not go away from the hands of Yehuda, it's part of the concept of the ruling of the Kedusha over the Klippa, or hitting it with a Shevet, ad v'lo yikasam imchulu, to the point where it says that to him will gather nations and so forth. What does it mean, like, to gather the nations? Like gathering the Netzutzos. That this is the concept of the purification from the world of division of the nations, the amim of the nations, anpin misfardin, the divided branches, to bring them and elevate them to the concept of the unity of the divine holiness. So too in each one of the tribes, what's described by them in these brachos is only changing the existence that's divided to be included into the not, into the concept of ayin, shenekra birur, which is called this purification, kamo b'yisachar rovetz b'na mishpasaim kanal, just like Yisachar crouched among the mishpasaim. And like we said, V'chein b'birchas Moshe amar al Gad, so too in the blessing of Moshe to the Shvatim, not just in Parshas Vayechi, you have this concept as well. V'tarav zro ad kod, so it says that God trampled the arm together with the head. Ubizvulun amar, and in Zvulun it says amim har yikro, that the nations call to the mountain shamizbechu, there they will offer a korban, ki shefa yamim yinagu chulu, because the flow from the sea they will have a nurturance. V'hu chilazon, and that's the chilazon shetzoveat cheles, that colors the tcheles shmisama ini achitzonim chulu, that color blinds the eyes of the external forces and so forth. So all this is still a concept of bitl hayesh la'ayin, that the nations bringing korbanos and so forth, it comes from the chilazon, and the chilazon itself is a concept of blinding the eyes and not a higher yichud. Yaakov, like Yaakov said, gather and I will tell you what will happen to you at the end of days, that this is the concept of the purification of the 70 ministers all of the days, that the sons of Israel were in the land of Israel, and all during the time of the exiles, until the time of Mashiach, as is known. Now, in the blessings of Yosef, Yaakov doesn't mention this concept of purification, though. Ela Amar ben Poras Yosef, but he says in the blessing of Yosef that he's the son of growth, of growing and adding. Ad Tihiena L'Rosh Yosef, and to the point where he says it should be to the head of Yosef, L'Kod Kod Nzirechav, into the skull of the crown of his brothers. Shebechinas Yosef Nikra Kod Kod Nzirechav Chulu, that Yosef is called the crown, the head of the crown of his brothers and so forth. that his bracha is differentiated, is different than the other Shvatim, and higher than them, the crown of them. Ubir hadvarim, and the explanation of this matter, Olihiyos Shishorish Bechinas Yosef Ubechinas Rosh V'Kod Kod Lechav, is because Yosef is a concept of the head, and the skull to his brothers, Kamarosh Shekol El Kol Eivarim, just like the head includes all the other limbs, Vu moved al Be'erech Mehem Chulu, and is on a higher level than them, and so forth. Beyond them, V'ha'inyan Hu, incomparable to the rest of the limbs, and the concept is al derech hamavur b'makom acher binyan hachalom de Yosef, explained in this dream of Yosef, shesiper lechav, that he told his brothers shayu malmim alomim, that they were gathering sheaves besoch hasadeh, inside the field, v'hine kamalu masichul, and Yosef's bundle of sheaves got up, v'tisubena alu moseichem v'tishtachavena lalu masichulu, and your sheaves turned around and bowed towards my sheaf, and so forth. That just like you make these bundles in the field, that you gather the divided stalks over here and over there, and you gather them and you tie them, and they become one bundle, as is known. So too is the concept of the purification of the sparks that were spread out amongst the 70 nations. It's called the world of division, divided branches, and so forth. The actual anpin, so the word anpin here fits well with these stalks. That you're purifying them, and you're tying them to be together with the supernal unity. Like someone who carries something from the public property to the private property. So that itself is a concept of birur that we don't do on Shabbos, is to carry from Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid, because it's a concept of birur and elevation. That this is from the mountains of separation, that's called the public property, to the world of divine unity, that's called the private singular property. As is known, and this is what it says, here we are gathering sheaves inside the field, because the fathers, and what they did is a sign for the children, to the generations that come from them, and all the time of the exiles, until the days of Mashiach, that the souls of Israel purify the sparks that are called these sheaves, like we said. And this is why they showed to Yosef, who's the head of the Shvatim, in a dream, that which in the future they will purify, because Yosef was the head, so it was shown to him. Each one of the tribes according to their level, like we said, and this is what it says, that here we are gathering sheaves inside the field, that is to say, in the supernal field, this field that Hashem blessed. That was the smell of Yaakov, which is that's the concept of the apple orchard and so forth, the concept of Malchus, I guess. This is called the Sadeh. The Malchus, the Shem Ban, that's Yored and so forth, to elevate. Because all of this concept of purification of these bundles, it's in the concept of Malchus, that's in Atzilus, shemustar bebriya, that as it goes down and is hidden in the world of Briya, shnekra sadeh, that's when it's called a field. Lamaila, above, as opposed to when it's in an Atzilus and it's called the Yam or something. Just like the allegory of gathering the bundles inside the field and so forth. Vidal, and that's enough to understand this. However, the concept that Yosef would purify was on a higher level. Higher than all of the other purifications of the other tribes. And that's why it says, and here my bundle stood up and so forth. And all of the other bundles of all the tribes bowed down in a state of nullification, of nothing to something, of something to nothing, to the state of naught, to bitlayesh, to the bundle of Yosef. And the concept is that the source of the tribes is in the world of Briya alone, like the face of the lion and so forth. The concept of their purification, therefore is only in the state of nullifying the existence to the not. It's not a bitl b'mitzius, only a bitl yesh. However, after the Shvatim are purified and included in the concept of ayin, they need a further purification. A second purification, and that is that they should be elevated from the world of Briya, Latzilus Mamosh, to Atzilus truly. And this is the concept of the masculine waters that purifies the feminine waters. A second purification, after you already have the feminine waters, the feminine arousal from below. First, as is explained in another place, that this is higher than the concept of the not of the existence alone. But it's the essential ayin. Like Moshe said, what are we? We are ma, not instead of. So the first, all these first birurim are a concept of ban, the Mayin Nukvin and so forth, and the second bitter of going to Atzilus, the concept of Yosef, is the concept of Ma, bitl ein be'etzem. It's the bitl b'metzius. So Ma mamash k'moshu be'etzem chulu, that the concept of Ma truly, like he is in his essence, and so forth. Ki bitl yesh la'ayin inu magir rak be'ayin shalayesh bilvad, because the nullification of the something to the nothing, to the ayin, only reaches the concept of the ayin of the yesh. Because you have two ayins, you have the yesh amiti, then you have the yesh shela, and then you have the ayin of the yesh amiti, then you have the ayin of the yesh nivra, and then you have the yesh of hanivra. So the ayin of the yesh nivra is lower than the ayin be'etzem, the ayin of the yesh amiti. So that's the ayin of the yesh. Bilvad ki yidu avizeu inyin b'chinas biro di Yosef lahalos mebri latzilus. And this is the concept of the birur of Yosef, the purification that Yosef causes to elevate from the world of Briya to Atzilus, liyos b'chinas Atzilus mamosh, to be truly on the level of Atzilus, shezeu birur habeis. And this is the second purification, that is to purify and elevate and unite to the state of Yehudat Hatah. Further, that's already been united with the throne and so forth of Briya up to Atzilus. And this is what it says in my bundle stood up, that he also purifies and unites the divided, and it's called my bundle. Just in a similar fashion to the bundles of the tribes that also cause a certain kind of unity in uniting. But not like this uniting and unity of the existent divided, of that which exists and is divided truly, like the Shvatim, like the bundles of the tribes, that's in the world of division, existences that are within boundary. But also to unite the state of the not of the existence, unites it, to be elevated to a state of supernal unity, that Atzilus Mamash, of the world of Atzilus truly. That in comparison to the supernal unity of Atzilus itself, so this the state of Bitla Yesh is called, the state of the lower unity is called an existence, a Yesh Nifrad, a divided existence. In comparison, because you cannot compare the concept of the not of the state of existence, the ein of the yesh that's divided truly, in comparison to the true not of the ein ha'atzmi of the Atzilus, the Viyechi, that he and his lights are one and so forth in the world of Atzilus. There's a greater unity in Atzilus. And this is also the concept of the big dollar of Echad. It's the concept of Malchus of Atzilus, as it's elevated in Atzilus, as it exists in Atzilus itself. Higher than the idea that Malchus becomes the Atik Yomin for Bria. The concept of the lower unity. That's the Malchus as it becomes Atik for Bria is the lower unity, whereas as it is in Atzilus, it's the Echad with a big Daled of unity, the higher unity of Pasuk Shema Yisrael. And this is why it says that the brothers will be to the head of Yosef, to the skull of the crown of his brothers, that he was the head to his brothers, and the crown to his brothers, divided from them in comparison, for this reason that we just said, and like the allegorically the purification of the limbs of the body, of the life in the limbs, and that they're purified another time when they're elevated to the head. So like when you eat, for example, and that it gets purified from the food and becomes a life force in your body. When that life force goes up to the head, it's a second purification. It's the source of their inner life. It also includes them together. All the other life force and light in the limbs, to the right and the left and the middle and so forth, as it comes up to the head, to this, so to speak, central life force of the person to be elevated as thought or on the level of the head, so it unites all the different life that's in the different parts of the body, the right and the left and the middle. Hakol kalul berosh, it's all united and included in the head, in an inner way, with including all of them specifically. Ulzed dafka bisim kol brachos di Yaakov, and with this, in the end of all the blessings of Yaakov, ben Yinabirurim shel kol echad me'ashvatim, the purification of each one of the tribes, ad Yemus Mashiach Kanal, until the days of Mashiach, like we said, Amar el Yosef ben Paras Yosef, so it says about Yosef, that he's the son of growth of Yosef. And so forth. Shu inyan b'chinas birur habei zanal, which is because that it's this state of second purification, like we said. Vu b'chinas kol elekulam chulu, and it's the concept of uniting them all. Valkein misayim tiyen el rosh Yosef chulu, and therefore he ends that the Shvatim should be to the head of Yosef and so forth. Ketzer Shabira Shvatim Beis Bechinas Hanal Ari Vishura Kol Adain Biro Deman Biro Deman Nukfin Bitlayesh, that all these purification of the tribes that we said, the lion and the ox, it's all still in the purification of the feminine waters, the nullification of the existence. It calls it Tzarich Adain Lis Baradot Biro Dema, and all of this needs to be purified. A second purification of Ma. Find Bidibura Maskil Ala Paruches Vazewal Yedei Yosef, and look in the Mamer how on Yom Kippur he shouldn't go, how not on Yom Kippur, but how he shouldn't go into behind the Paruches. And that's through Yosef. There's the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And this is what it says, that here we are gathering bundles and so forth. And my bundle stood up, and that's why it's called the head of the crown of his brothers, Shuhu Mufrash Mehem, that he's divided from them, Merkavta de Biyah, that they are the Merkava of the world of B'yitz Yerasiya, the lower Merkava of Hu Batzilus, and Yosef is in Atzilus. Ein Mashakos opinion, Giviyah Kesef de Yosef, and look what's brought about the idea of the cup of silver of Yosef. It's like this, I guess, a certain light that's placed into the other Shvatim that's elevated to him. Or it's the Ava Mesoteres.